With Jake and Fulton coming to you on a Victory Monday. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Time to celebrate if you are a Chiefs fan because you dodged a bullet. The Chiefs get the victory. And the Kansas Jayhawks are going to a bowl game, ladies and gentlemen. That.
Some truly had doubt many a times, but surely no one of these two people as part of this show ever doubted this day would come.
You said 40%
no doubts.
chance.
There were no doubts. I will just like us to ignore the past few weeks.
Fulton was in his feelings. He was scared. He was nervous. And I told you when they started 5-0, they'd get that sixth victory. But the Jayhawks are going bowling. That is right. We will get to a lot. We'll talk about K-State and the disappointing effort against the Texas Longhorns. We will recap all of that today on this edition of Mic'd Up. Thank you so much for joining us. Jacob on Fulton Caster with you. As always, hit us up on the Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Chiefs fans, let us know your thoughts on what occurred last night and the magician that Patrick Mahomes truly, truly is. Little Jayhawks, little K-State. We'll hear from head coach Andy Reid coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, his press conference. We'll get some audio cuts from here or there. We'll go around the NFL, talk a little Big 12. A ton to get to on this Monday edition. Hit us up on Twitter at SportsOn580. You can also watch the show on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@SportsOn580. Very simple, very easy. A lot of ways that you can interact with us. So send us a tweet, send us a comment. Hit us up on the Big O Tires text line. The Chiefs get the win last night in one of the most unusual games that I have seen in a long time. One team only ran it. One team only threw it. First part of the game, total domination against the defense. The second half of the game, the Tennessee Titans couldn't do anything. I mean, anything. They couldn't do anything.
So I will say real quick before we dive into this to just point this out about the news when we said they can't do anything. I was looking into this last night. Do you know how many total yards the Tennessee offense had in the second half prior to overtime? We're going to exclude overtime here. How many total yards of offense do you think they generated?
I think they had 30.
Less. When you take in negative plays into account, they had 23 yards of offense in the second half. They quite literally, they scored 3 points only because the Chiefs gave them the ball in field goal range. They didn't even move the ball on that drive.
They had one first down, did the Tennessee Titans, after the 5:24 mark in the second quarter.
After their field goal, they gained one more first down the rest of the way.
That was the first down?
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. They had
everything
else
was 3 and out
in the second half. That's incredible. It was a wild game. Stats are nuts in this one. Patrick Mahomes, the first player to ever throw for 400 yards, rush for 60 yards, and have a rushing touchdown. That's banana land. And that was the game. How many times do we have to say this? But we need to say it because you have to be reminded.
You can't get numb to the fact
that the Chiefs have number 15 and nobody else does. You have Patrick Mahomes, and that game last night was another edition of over my dead body, we're going to lose this game. Nothing was going right for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. They couldn't figure it out after the second drive. They're up 9-0 because of a missed PAT. And you're thinking, wow, okay, the Chiefs are up 9-0. Then for 40 minutes, they couldn't figure it out on offense. And then finally they do because of number 15. He is the league favorite for MVP after that game and what occurred over the weekend. Patrick Mahomes is special. And this is why you should never take it for granted that what you've got in number 15. He is the best player in the NFL and has been the best player in the NFL since 2018 when he first started. This is why I joke all the time about Chiefs kids and fans who are 10 years old. They have no idea what they have in Patrick Mahomes.
They have nothing to compare it to, and it's true though. We need to take these moments to remind people to not take for granted, because truly those last 2 scoring drives, they only happened because Patrick Mahomes willed it to be. I mean, think about the biggest plays of the game were all centered on something Mahomes did. 3rd and 17. Nothing is going right. The Titans played perfect defense. Everyone's covered downfield. You break the pocket immediately. The quarterback's flushed. You're home. And then Mahomes scrambles for 20 yards. Like, what do you do?
And then runs for a touchdown for 18.
Yeah, that touchdown, everyone's covered. You're breaking there.
Passes. Yeah, it's just
it's when the perfect encapsulation of knowing you have that dude and a guy being just special, as the only word to describe him, is when a defense does, and I mean everything right. That they 9 out of 10 times against every other person in the league, the play is dead in the water. But it gets positive because the guy quarterbacking the offense just figures it out. And that is what Mahomes did so often last night. Was Tennessee was doing everything they could. And you for them, you just have to throw your hands up in the air and say, what else do we do?
The fan bases that have never seen one. Like, and the Chiefs were that fan base prior to the 2017 draft.
Yeah, never seen this.
We never had that guy. I think every fan base should be able to have that guy where you go, wow, that's special. Now, some fan bases have had a couple of those guys. Some fan bases have had them back-to-back, Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Yeah.
You know, the Chiefs, we've lived through it. We've lived through, you know, the Steve DeBerg and the Dave Craig. And then, you know, we thought we had it with Trent Green, but even Trent Green wasn't that guy.
Yeah.
And then you went through the Palco and the Thigpen and the Orton and the Croyle. And then you had Alex Smith, who's a good quarterback, but he ain't that guy.
No, Alex Smith can do some things, but not these things.
And then you finally have the guy. And that's what makes it special. You know, most fan bases have had at least the guy every now and then. Or, you know, like if you're the Bears have never had the guy at quarterback.
No, they've never had a 4,000-yard passer.
No. So, like, they don't know that feeling.
No.
You know, the Packers, yeah, you got lucky. You got Favre, and then you had Rodgers. Like, you had 20 years of unbelievable quarterback play. Like, it feels different. When there was 8 seconds to go in the game, I thought the Chiefs still had a chance. And if Travis Kelce catches the ball, Butker tries from 68.
Yeah, that's the craziest part to that. And I give credit to Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast pointing out, like, with the Chiefs, you can't play them pure prevent on those plays because they have, like, a bunch of teams try it. The Chiefs have weirdly mastered the art of 15 yards and fall down. It's normally Kelce who's really good about just catching and falling at the exact same moment.
He was too worried about calling a timeout.
Yeah,
and
he was
down
kind of
than catching the pass.
Yeah, he should have focused on catching and let everyone else do it. Because truly, they would have tried out Harrison Butker to kick that ball from midfield, and he would have probably had the leg.
I think it would have been from 66.
It would have been
because it would have been right at midfield. I think that's where he would have went down.
Yeah, that would have been from. We might have been encroaching on 70 territory, and they would have tried it. They would have given it a shot.
But like that's why it's different having 15 back there. Nothing was going right. And even Mahomes was getting frustrated with a couple of them because that one, oh, screw it, I'm just going to throw it down the field and hope for something. But at the end of the day, they had number 15 throws for 440 yards was just insane. And keeps hopes alive because the Chiefs, they knew going into this game, if you win and you beat the Tennessee Titans, now you've got the tiebreaker over the Titans, and now you're tied with the Bills for the best record in the AFC. And just like the Chiefs in this game, The Bills showed some weaknesses against the Jets. Same thing for the Chiefs, but Chiefs found a way to pull it out. The Bills ended up falling behind. To me, I look back at that game and I think of three things that changed that game. Number one, we've got Patrick Mahomes. You don't. That's number one. Number two, whatever the hell Steve Spagnuolo did defensively midway through the second quarter, you have to say, well done. Because the first two drives, when they got up 14-9, I was like, they're never going to throw the ball. I mean, Derrick Henry wasn't getting touched 7 yards down the field. You got a lot of people when I say a lot of people, you basically two, but Justin Reed and Juan Thornhill were bad against the run, not filling it, making some business decisions. And I'm thinking they don't need to throw the football because they're gashing them.
Yeah.
Midway second quarter, Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defense, if it was the players, if it was Spags, or they needed time to figure it out, whatever it was, it completely changed because that run defense completely stymied everybody. Willis did not know what to do back there. He threw two good passes, and both of them were dropped by his receivers. Like, the Chiefs were down by 8 midway through the third quarter, and the opposing quarterback had 3 completed passes. That was it. Like, it was a unique game, but credit goes to the defense for allowing the 20 yards of offense in the second half and 1 first down. For 2.5 quarters, they allowed 1 first down. That was incredible by Steve Spagnuolo. And the final thing to me that blows my mind is that the play calling by the Tennessee Titans at the 39-yard line of Kansas City with 6 minutes to go in the game. They throw it twice. It is it's 1st and 10 at the 40. They run it one time. They get it to the 39. So now it's 2nd down and 9. They really just can't go backwards, but if you get 5 yards in 2 plays, you get a 50-yard field goal. Pretty much that 99%
it ices the game essentially
chance, because now it's a two-score game.
It's a two-score game with 5 minutes. You're close to. I know with the Chiefs and Mahomes, it's not always guaranteed, but you're in a much better spot than one possession.
All you have to do, if you are Mike Vrabel, is hand the ball off to Derrick Henry or do a zone read and have Malik Willis keep it 2 straight times.
Yeah.
Instead, at the 39-yard line, they throw it 40 yards down the field. No chance. Good play by Snead. And then you try a screen pass
that Nick Bolton read
the
like
line
a book.
of scrimmage, and you lose 5 yards. And now, instead of gaining 5, that 10-yard difference there, you gain 5 yards versus losing 5 yards. Now it's a 60-yard field goal, and you say, no, we can't do it. We're up 8. Let's punt the football. All you needed was 5 yards, and you decide to throw it. I get the Chiefs' defense was stymieing the run,
but you don't even need to get the first down with those runs. You just need to keep going forward. Like that's the difference there. It's like you knew a field goal is fine here. We go 2 possessions. We're up 11. We're like, we can do this. And you just need to go forward.
And I know the Tennessee Titans field goal kicker is not the most reliable.
Yeah, Randy Bullock's not the greatest in the world.
But at least if you get 5 yards, it's an opportunity. It's a 49-yard field goal.
It's a chance.
And that's what you're doing. I go back to this all the time. I don't know if Bill Belichick is a great decision maker. He might just be average at it, and everybody else in the NFL is just stupid. Because how on earth, with the game on the line, you say, yeah, let's decide to go with the quarterback who completed 3 passes all game and let him be the difference maker. If this is back at the 20-yard line, let's say it's 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line of Tennessee. By all means, throw the football. Throw it. Yes. Do what you need to do. when you have it at the Kansas City 40-yard line and all you need is 5 yards? Hell, do 3 quarterback sneaks. Like, it's incredible. But those are the 3 things that, to me, resulted in a Chiefs 3-point victory in overtime. We had Mahomes. The defense and Spagnuolo figured out how to slow down the Titan offense, and then some idiotic play calling by the Tennessee Titans. That is how you get 20-17 in a game in which the Chiefs threw it 68 times, completed 43, and the Tennessee Titans completed 5 passes.
It was insane. It was, and it's truly, you get there because I will say this about the Titans here. I think some criticism of the Titans needs to be rescinded by this program. That defense can play ball. That offense without Ryan Tannehill is not good because Malik Willis. Malik Willis. I truly think when Tannehill's contract comes up, let him walk. Let Willis be your quarterback. That kid can do it. He just isn't ready because he made some throws.
Yeah, they didn't get any help. He also
has no receivers.
None. And
he has you and me at receiver.
They didn't do a whole lot to help him out. If Tannehill plays in this game, the Chiefs lose.
Possibly.
I mean, they lose because you're not looking like that in overtime or in the second half. The Chiefs catch a break. They caught a break that Malik Willis made his second start. They truly did. We got a lot more to get to. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line. Let us know your thoughts. 785-272-9429. Coming up next, we'll get a little weekends, takeaways, and fails as you're listening to Mic'd Up. biggest weekend takeaways and fails from this weekend? What do you got?
A big takeaway from this weekend comes to me from the baseball side of things. Do not pay closers large amounts of money for long contracts. Edwin Diaz is going to get 5 years, $105 million from the Mets.
That's a lot of money.
He's almost 30. And here's a fun fact about closers, even the greatest ones. It's rare that they don't have a sharp fall off that you can't predict. Wade Davis was the best closer in baseball for 4 years. He then fell off a cliff. Edwin Diaz has not been as consistent as Wade Davis was. He was great this past year. He was amazing. The year before, he wasn't good. That great. Year before that, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I don't know if I would spend 5 years, $105 million when I already have other people that need to get paid. Cough, cough, Jacob deGrom, cough, cough. But, I mean, Steve Cohen also has more money than I know what to do with. But, so, you know, who knows? Maybe we'll just pay everybody. But, yeah, hearing that report, I was like, man, that just feels like a bad idea. But this is a reminder, just don't. It's like running backs in football. You don't probably need to pay them a buttload because you never know when that's going to stop.
We'll get into this a lot more in depth, but KU won 6 games this year.
Yeah, they did, baby.
In 9 games.
Yeah, they did.
They are 6-3.
You're darn right they are.
That's
As your 6-3 Kansas football Jayhawks.
Incredible. I thought I was being optimistic by saying they'd win 4 games.
I was with you.
I thought, they'll either, and I kind of, straddled the fence and said, well, they'll either beat 2 Big 12 teams or they'll win all their non-conference games and beat 1. Something like that can happen. I thought they'd win 4 games. They've won 6, and they still have 3 games left, and all 3 of them are winnable games. They really are winnable games. That is incredible.
I just want us to take a minute and think about the phrase, your 9-3 Kansas football Jayhawks. Just want to take a minute.
Well, I mean,
really breathe that one in.
See, don't even breathe that in. You just, right now, all KU fans should be doing is looking at bowl projections and finding out where you're going to go.
Oh, yeah. I will never be watching bowl predictions harder than this year because I need to know where I'm going.
It doesn't matter if you lose them all and you go 6-6.
Yeah, I need to know where to book the flight.
You might not
need the flight, but I need to just know where I'm going.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway. No question. Coming up, we'll go around the NFL here on Mic'd Up. The NFL with another wild one. And the 2020 season is as crazy a season as we have seen in quite some time.
It's been wild.
By the way, the Colts have fired Frank Reich. He is
That's
now
not even the craziest part of what we're about to tell you.
He's fired. Not a surprise. Although I will say this, GM Chris Ballard should also be fired. And here's the reason why. If you give your head coach a fifth different starting quarterback to start the season in 5 years, you shouldn't have a job.
Also, beyond that, if those two guys that you traded for, that you spent assets on, were Carson Wentz, who you then willingly shipped out just a year later because it went that bad, and then is Matt Ryan, who you benched for that bad he's playing.
Here are the
you should be considered getting rid of.
Here are the 5 quarterbacks: Andrew Luck, who's then retired.
Mm-hmm.
Phillip Rivers,
who had a good year. That worked. That actually worked.
And then you had Carson Wentz,
not good.
And then you had Matt Ryan,
not good.
So, or excuse me, for the last 4 years, you have had. Oh no, I forgot. Jacoby Brissett was in there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
which that wasn't giving. That was just it. Well, did they sign? I think they signed Jacoby Brissett.
So did Jacoby Brissett. So that was 5.
Yeah.
You have 5 quarterbacks starting the year in 5 consecutive years. That is an organization and franchise failure. That's not all on Frank Reich. Some of that is a lot on.
Yeah. Since Andrew Luck retired, they have not started the year with the same starting quarterback.
Yeah. It went Luck, Brissett, Rivers,
Wentz,
and now Matt Ryan. So, but former Colt center,
this is wild.
Jeff Saturday is going to be the interim coach, not Gus Bradley, who's been a head coach.
Yep.
Not John Fox,
who's been a head coach
and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, they are going with Jeff Saturday. So now I have to say, I want the Colts and Jeff Saturday to beat the Raiders on Sunday. So therefore, that would be amazing.
2 points here I want to say to that. One, I agree with our good friend Matt Verderam. With if Jeff Saturday beats Josh McDaniels on Sunday, the Raiders are compelled to fire everybody in the building.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
The second part is this. This is from Adam Schefter as part of he's breaking this news. Here's an issue for the Colts. No one on that staff that's currently still there has called NFL plays on offense. Then is Monday. They have until Sunday to figure that out.
I mean, we've all played Madden. We've all played NCAA football.
I mean, yes, but we all know that's not the same thing. So that's just a fun thing to point out. Because Frank Reich, was calling the plays.
But that is the most interesting part of what occurred today. The weekend that was.
Also, it's mentioning moments.
Any given Sunday. The New York Jets. The New York Jets have a quarterback who is not good. He's not.
Oh, come on. You're telling me 154 passing yards and a single touchdown isn't good?
Nope. I can watch the game, and I did watch the game.
That's fair.
Zach Wilson ain't it. But they beat the Bills 20-17. And this is why we said that the Chiefs still have a chance despite losing to the Bills, because in this day and age, with the way the talent is structured, with the way the salary cap is, with the way the schedule works, with playing an extra game. 14-3 is probably the 1 seed. You saw what happened last night. The Chiefs should have lost the game. They found a way to squeak it by. The Buffalo Bills lost the game. So they have the same record as Buffalo. Will the Chiefs lose another game? Yes. Will the Bills lose another game? Yes. The question is, who is 14-3 and who is 13-4? That is going to be the difference to me for the 1 seed. But the Jets' offense is not good. It's not.
It cannot get a singular thing going.
But their defense is nasty. They got a good pass rush. Robert Saleh's a good defensive coordinator. They've got C.J. Mosley, who's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They got 2 corners.
Sauce Gardner's the truth.
DJ Reed.
DJ Reed, the truth.
DJ Reed about ready to get paid.
DJ Reed's going to get a bag, an absolute bag, because he is playing so well in that Robert Saleh defense. So well.
Excuse me. He signed a 3-year deal just this last off year. So
good for him. I also legitimately thought he was on his last part of a contract. Good for him though. He already got a little bit of a bag.
Yeah, he's still
he keeps this up though. When this one's up, he's going to get paid.
Well, he probably not because he'll be 29. But he still has a chance for it. But either way,
the Jets defense nasty.
Jets defense can play, and the Bills can't run the football, much like the Chiefs. The Bills and the Chiefs essentially played the same exact game, except the difference is that the Chiefs defense stiffened up at the end, whereas the Bills didn't, and the Chiefs offense found a way to get it done, and the Bills didn't. So the Bills end up losing. That is headline, no questions asked, number 1.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay saved their season with a 35-second drive by Tommy. Because if Tampa Bay loses that game, I don't know if I think everything might have just gone completely downhill.
Yeah.
And it could have been really, really bad. Instead,
give credit to Tommy boy. They found a way to win.
They're leading their division now. They are leading the division at 4-5.
Yep, they're tied there with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep. So that is a season-saving 35 seconds to me for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now you're looking at the Los Angeles Rams, who stand at 3-5, and they are struggling.
Their goose is becoming on the edge of cooked.
They are 1-2 in the division, whereas the Seahawks in San Francisco, the Seahawks are 3 games now ahead of the Rams, and the 49ers have beaten the Rams twice already. The Rams are in trouble. So Tampa Bay finding a way to get it done, to me, second biggest headline. The Vikings survive against the Commanders. The Vikings are just skating by. If there is a
skin of their teeth,
if there's a 7-1 team that just is, it feels like, it almost feels like, to be honest with you, like Cleveland's better than the Vikings and they're 3-5, or like Jacksonville's better than the Vikings at 3-6, or the 49ers are a better team at 4-4. The Vikings are clinging to hope, but they're 7-1.
They are. They have won 6 straight games. Congrats, Minnesota. They have not played any bigger than a 1-score game in those 6 wins. Like, they are hanging on. And the thing is, though, you can make comments about that all you want. And we said that about the Giants earlier in the year, was all these 1-score games. You're winning the game. That's what matters. You are 7-1. And they have a big lead in the NFC North, because the rest of that division is having problems.
Yes. Yeah. So the Vikings at 7-1 do not scare me. I don't think they are a Super Bowl contender.
No, when they play a real football team, then they'll probably lose.
I don't think so. Yeah. We'll find out. I will say this. I'm a huge Vikings fan right now.
Who do they play this week?
Buffalo.
Oh boy,
I'm a huge Vikings fan.
That's gonna get interesting.
Come on, Vikings. And then the last big game to me, at least involving the entire NFL, and that is the Green Bay Packers season is now over. The Green Bay Packers are now 3-6 on the year. This is the first 5-game losing streak in Aaron Rodgers' career. The Green Bay Packers cannot figure it out, and the Green Bay Packers' next 3 games are the Cowboys, the Titans, and the Eagles. Those are their next 3 games. Those are their next 3 games.
They could conceivably go on an 8-game losing streak.
And the Packers have no answers whatsoever. You put up 9 points against the Lions, who had the worst defense in the NFL going into that game, and you scored 9 points. Rodgers threw 2 interceptions in the red zone. It's bad news bears right now for the Packers. I wanted to give the Packers one more opportunity, because if you beat the Lions, all right,
right the ship a little bit, go into your tough schedule, riding the balance. You're only what, 4-5?
You're 4-5.
You're right there.
It's all she wrote now.
It's not great up there in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
No, it's that pretty much has come to a close to me this year for the Green Bay Packers. So those are the 4 big games to me in the NFL. Let's look at the AFC West. Man, who could have thought this would happen? The Raiders stink. Not only do the Raiders stink, the Raiders are historically bad. The Raiders this year, they led the Arizona Cardinals 20-0 with 7:33 to go in the third quarter. They lost. They blew a 20-point lead with a quarter and a half to go.
Funny.
The Raiders led 17-0 with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Lost to the Chiefs. On Sunday, the Raiders led 17-0 against Jacksonville with 4 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the second quarter. And they lost yesterday. They are the first team to lose 3 games in a single season when you had the lead by 17 points or more.
That is 3 3-score leads they've blown.
Nobody is surprised that the Raiders stink.
No.
And the reason why is their head coach is Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, their head coach's an incompetent buffoon.
He is a great offensive coordinator. I do believe that. I think he's a good offensive mind. And there are a lot of people who will tell you he is a good offensive mind. But head coach and offensive mind are completely different. And now the Raiders, their season is over with. The Raiders are now 2-6 through 8 games. They've got 9 games to go. Their season is now over. So congratulations to the Raiders. And this might be it for Josh McDaniels. He might be one and done for the Raiders. But because the powers that be in the leadership for the Raiders and Mark Davis is terrible, he probably comes back. And so on, I'll be happy. I'll be happy.
Yeah, as long as Josh McDaniels is leading the Raiders, I'm in a good mood.
I want Hackett, I want Staley, and I want McDaniels to stay as the head coaches. All 3 of them. I think all 3 of them at the end of the year, if the Chargers don't make the playoffs, Staley should be fired. You can't have that much talent and not make the playoffs. Speaking of the Chargers, they squeaked one by against the Falcons, and the Falcons had the lead in this one, but let it get away. They were up 10-0, but in the second half, a missed field goal by the Falcons going to end up costing them. And it would benefit too if the Falcons could, recover a fumble.
The Falcons are going to be upset at themselves because they recovered a fumble. We're going to be able to go down, kick the game-winning field goal, and then Graham just drops the football.
Yeah.
No one around him, just drops the ball.
Yeah. That potentially saved the Chargers season.
They're only a game back at Kansas City.
And if you play Kansas City in 2 weeks,
if
you beat Kansas City, you will be tied with Kansas City. So that saved their season. The Chargers found a way to get a win against the Falcons. Big loss for the Falcons because they could have been up on the...
they would have maintained their one-game lead over Tampa Bay. So that is a loss that hurts the Falcons and a win that definitely buoys the Chargers, which is its most classic form of how it works out.
And the Chargers and the 49ers play Sunday Night Football. Chargers have to keep pace. If you lose that one and then you lose against the Chiefs, they will not win the division. What's funny about the NFL this year is everybody thought that the AFC West was going to be just this incredible,
it's supposed to be a gauntlet,
an amazing division. And you've got one team that's 6-2, one team that's 2-6, one team that's 3-5 and has the worst offense in the league, and the other team is right now put together by twine and duct tape in the Chargers. And then the two divisions that nobody thought would be as good as they are the AFC and the NFC East.
It's a good time to be on the East Coast.
Nobody thought that the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants would all have three of the better records in the entire NFL. And then the Commanders are not terrible. And then nobody thought the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills essentially are all tied at 6-3. I know the Bills are 6-2. They haven't had the Jets and the Dolphins haven't had their bye week yet. But who is the Jets and the Dolphins? Who's got the bye week coming up?
I think the Jets have it first.
The Jets have a bye week right here.
Yeah, this is the Jets bye week. I think the Dolphins bye week is after this.
Yeah, they take on
actually,
Cleveland.
I'm exactly right. The Jets are a bye this week, the Dolphins are a bye next week. But that entire division's above 500.
And you look at it here, you could have a three-way tie. You could have the Bills could lose to the Vikings. They just lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets are off. The Dolphins could beat the Browns, and you're sitting at 7-3. And the Bills are sitting at 6-3.
Then you get your bye.
And then you win.
Jets and Bills win while Dolphins are on bye. You have three teams at 7-3.
You could.
And think about it further. This is the outside of records. Look at those four teams. Would you actively want to face any of those four teams? Truly, would you willingly go in, because Buffalo is Buffalo. Like, they don't need a breakdown. Buffalo is Buffalo.
I don't think the Patriots are very good. I'd be okay.
The Patriots defense is good.
I'm all right with that.
We just saw what a good defense can do to the Chiefs.
Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi.
We just saw what a team led by Malik Willis can do.
You asked me a question.
I know.
I'm telling you an answer.
I know. And I
have no problem. I'm all right. See, the Jets to me are interesting. I would play the Jets because the Jets aren't going to score.
Yeah.
So I'd be all right with that.
I will give this on the Jets. The Chiefs receivers already struggle to get open. You think anyone's getting open against Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs will find a way to. I am not worried about the Jets offense. That offense is trash.
I don't disagree.
And the Patriots offense is bad.
My thing with all four of those teams, particularly the three below Buffalo, is they all have a thing they can do that makes them a team that could beat anyone any week. Is all three of those teams can make a game get ugly real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miami just has a track team on their feet, on their squad, which is why they can score points. But the Jets and Patriots are a team you can beat, but can also lose to, because they can make a game ugly, which is how lower level teams win.
I wouldn't have any problem facing.
I wouldn't be worried. The Chiefs had faced the Jets. I'm probably going to still pick the Chiefs to win, not be that worried.
Easily.
But there's the fact of the matter is, if they make it ugly enough, You never know what happens.
Okay, how many games? Okay, they play 10 times. How many times Chiefs win?
Oh, you're getting the Chiefs 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not too worried about
But I
it.
mean, Chiefs against Malik Willis, I would say they win 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
We almost saw the one.
Yeah. From the Big O Tires text line, coming from a Bears fan, it was great to see the Packers lose to the worst team in football. Yeah,
That's fair. That's fine.
Yep. Was it just me, or did Justin Herbert look a little out of sorts yesterday?
He has Jello for ribs. He still has Jello for ribs.
And Joe Lombardi's a terrible OC.
Yeah, Joe Lombardi is ruining Justin Herbert's career, and Justin Herbert does not have a midsection. He's going to look off the entire year. Yeah. That's a fair warning to everybody on the text line, listening, watching, whatever. If you're watching Chargers football and go, man, Herbert doesn't look the same, he won't look the same all year. His ribs don't exist. But the team needs him to play.
Well, and for some reason, the Chargers also don't have their two best weapons.
That too. They were down to Josh Palmer as wide receiver 1. The Chargers are getting the full Chargers injury moment.
The Chargers don't have Keenan Allen because his hamstring apparently is paper mache.
Apparently.
And Mike Williams is out for like another 2 weeks, I think, maybe or not. I have to double check on that. So another reason, a big reason why that Herbert didn't look great is, you take away Juju and Travis Kelce, might be a little bit different as well. It was a scary survivor pool.
Yeah, both of you had to sweat bullets.
Whew. I went with the Vikings.
You got there eventually.
And the Vikings got her done. Dan went with the Chiefs. Now, here's the thing. I have never wanted a survivor opponent to win a game
as badly as that.
I was like, yes, the Chiefs won, even though Dan gets to survive. Dan picked the Chiefs. So when the Chiefs ended up winning, I was like, I don't really care because the Chiefs won. Even though Dan's still in it. But we move on.
You guys are running out of good pickings here.
Oh, no, I got mine scheduled for the next 3 weeks. I feel good.
Okay.
I feel good.
You just got them already locked and loaded. Yep. You're ready to go.
Unless injuries change things, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm taking the Chiefs this Sunday.
Okay, Chiefs over Jags. Good pick.
And then I believe I'm going to take the Giants, the G-Men, in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because they play November 16th through the 22nd. The Giants play the Detroit Lions.
Good. Those are good back-to-back picks.
So I'm going to take those. Coming up, we'll get to a little college football. Hour number 2 of Mic'd Up. Thank you so much for joining us on this Victory Monday. Jake Lamont, Fulton Caster with you. Let us know your thoughts on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. You can give us a shout on Twitter at SportsOn580. That's SportsOn580. You can also head to our YouTube page where we are streaming all of our shows, 580 Sports Talk, as well as Mic'd Up. Just go to youtube.com/@ the @ symbol, SportsOn580. Hit us up with a comment as well. You can let us know what is on your mind on this Victory Monday. We're going to hear from head coach Andy Reid coming up at the bottom of the hour. Also a little bit from Mike Vrabel. He had something very interesting to say about one Travis Kelce. We're going to get to that. Everyone loves the list. College basketball jerseys. And we've got college basketball starting tonight.
Before the show today, about lunchtime, 11 o'clock or so, Brendan, Dan, and myself were in our little cubicle corner here in the office, looking at all the games happening today, every single one.
You were all way too loud and you were screaming.
It was really funny.
Way too
there
loud.
were some fantastic fake colleges playing today.
Well, they're not fake. They sound fake.
They sound so fake.
They sound fake. Yes, I'm with you.
I implore anybody, if you have some free time, just go to ESPN's website, look up every single game being played today, and just enjoy some places that are happening.
I want you to give us the top 2 coming up in the 2 o'clock hour, because we'll give our expectations for both K-State and KU as they play. KU takes on Omaha, somewhere in the middle of America.
Omaha.
See, when you hear Omaha, you think Peyton Manning.
Yes.
When I hear Omaha, I think of the song by the Counting Crows.
Okay. Yeah, we have 2 different things we're thinking of here.
Yeah, Omaha.
No, I can't hear Omaha without hearing Peyton Manning screaming Omaha. I can't. It is ingrained in my brain that when I hear that word, that's all I think about.
Omaha by the Counting Crows. Very good song.
Okay.
Very good song.
I probably have heard it and just don't remember hearing it.
Pretty good song.
But,
Yeah. And then UT Rio Grande Valley coming to Manhattan for the Jerome Tang era to begin.
Coach Tang going to get his first actual win as head coach.
Should. What's the line on those 2 games?
What is this? KU's got to be in the 20s at least. No disrespect to our friends, the Mavericks of Nebraska, Omaha, but
I can tell you
it can't be close.
KU is a 34.5 point favorite.
That tricks.
Good Lord.
That tricks.
And K-State is an 18.5 point favorite over UT Rio Grande Valley.
Okay.
Before the season started, the advanced numbers from ESPN's Bill Connolly, the S&P is what they call it.
Very good predictive rankings.
Yes. According to Bill Connolly's numbers. KU had a 1% chance to make a bowl game before the season started. Let me say that one more time for you. KU had a 1% chance of making a bowl game before a snap was taken this year. KU won their 6th game in 9 tries.
They did. They sat here and they did.
I cannot state how incredible that is.
Even the most optimistic of people around this program, like the most ever-present optimists, were year 2, let's maybe get 4 wins, and then year 3 and year 4, we can start contemplating, maybe finally reaching bowl eligibility.
Yes. To me, they got bowl eligible in year 1. I don't count last year because last year was almost it was such a unique set of circumstances. The fact that you had essentially a kindergarten preschool year last year, and now in your first full season as head coach, where you had spring ball and summer and all that, KU has won 6 games in 9 tries. It's the fact that they did it in 9 tries.
Yeah.
They still have 3 games left. Now, did they have some good fortune against Oklahoma State? Yes.
You betcha they did.
Because Oklahoma State's offense was run by, surprise, it was you. And so that helps. It really, really does. But you should never, ever put an asterisk on that because TCU got to play 3 teams without their starting quarterback this year. Do we say they're not as good? No, they're ranked number 4.
You can only play who is put in front of you. Teams should not be punished for playing other teams when they're not at full strength because you can't control that. You should not punish KU and say, well, they got lucky to get their, like, if this ends up being KU's, like, KU finishes 6-6. No one should go, well, they got lucky to be bowl eligible because they played, Oklahoma State without Spencer Sanders. Like, what are they supposed to do? Take that back and say we don't want it because we couldn't control that a guy finally, after his billion injuries this year, couldn't play a game.
Now, can that help describe it?
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, of course it can.
Just like KU going to an Orange Bowl, they did not play the 3 best teams in the Big 12 South. That is part of it. But they played who were they supposed to play, beat who they were supposed to beat, so be it. But KU beating 3 Big 12 teams in a team that has destroyed them year in and year out in Oklahoma State, a team that's had their number in Iowa State and West Virginia, and then finding a way to beat a better than average Duke team and a decent Houston team. They still have 3 games to go. And they have a puncher's chance in every single one of them.
Yeah.
They really, really do. Texas Tech, who is all over the map right now because
I do not know what version of Tech you will see every week.
You have no clue.
You have no clue who's going to walk in that building.
Right now, KU is a 4.5-point dog at Tech. But Devin Neal was special.
That kid is something else.
200 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving. He was outstanding. He will be the best running back not to make first team All Big 12 or maybe even second team All Big 12 because the Big 12 is loaded at running back. But he was terrific. And the defense, it helps that you're going up against, you at quarterback because, and that's also on Oklahoma State. Have a better backup.
Yeah, recruit better. Don't have behind Spencer Sanders 3 freshmen.
Yeah. Hey, KU had Jason
greener
Bean.
Than green behind Spencer Sanders.
KU had Jason Bean. K-State's got Will Howard. Do a better job of that. There's a lot of things that you can say.
Yeah.
But that defense played its best game, and they've got the most confidence going into a game against Texas Tech, in which I really don't know who all's going to play. Like I can see KU getting smoked. I can see KU winning. I have no idea about that game against Texas Tech. I really don't.
4 ways games can usually end. Team A blows out Team B. Team A wins a close one. Team B wins a close one. Team B blows the doors off of Team A.
All 3 of those.
All 4 of those could exist with KU and Tech.
Correct.
You give me all 4 of those. You just tell me which one happens, and I go, sure, that's how it happened.
Yeah. What Lance Leipold has done has been incredible. I can't stress that enough. KU was a punching bag, and now they've won 6 games.
Yeah.
And honestly, they can beat any one of the final 3 teams. Can they beat Texas? Yes, they can. Can they beat K-State? You bet. Can they beat Texas Tech? Yes. Can they lose to all 3 of them? Yes. That's what makes the Big 12 so exciting. That's what makes it great.
Yeah.
So credit to KU. I looking at this with the backup quarterback, this was their best chance to get a win, and they absolutely hammered Oklahoma State. This was not a game at all. Excellent. On the other side of things, for the second week in a row, we said, why is this line the way it is? Said, why is K-State an underdog? Well, either Vegas has the DeLorean and knows they got the sports almanac out of Back to the Future, and they're just slowly but surely winning all these games. Like I do believe semi-time travel can exist, and the Vegas bookies found it because they're way too damn good at their job. But K-State, their defense got completely gashed. They had no answer for Texas and the running game, but also the passing game. And it was honestly a lot like the Chiefs game last night. One team just ran all over the other team. That was a complete team loss for Kansas State. There was no one side of the ball that deserves more blame. I thought the coaching staff did not do a good job preparing their football team. You can't give up 31 points and a half and expect to win. I don't care who you are.
It's real hard.
You cannot win. The defense, excellent in the second half. Gave up just 3 points. Terrific. Fantastic. You can't give up 31 and a half.
No, that's the biggest part of this.
Offensively, it's hard to win games when you are down 21 points in college football. K-State has to do a better job on offense. Now, whether you agree or disagree with who they started at quarterback, I would have started Will Howard. They went with Adrian Martinez. Did not work in the first half. Worked in the first couple drives, but then stalled out in the second quarter. In the third quarter, the offense was better.
Yeah.
It was. They put up 10 points. They're doing all right. And then at the end of the game, decisions by this K-State coaching staff in big games is very perplexing to me. The game against TCU, I understand. You're down to Jake Rubley. I got you. Now, there are a bunch of decisions in that game that I question what they decided to do. But in close games, in big ones, they seem to not make the right decisions at the end of the game. K-State was down 2 scores, and they are zero urgency. None whatsoever.
Lollygagging.
None whatsoever. They get in the end zone. Yeah, but congratulations, there's a minute to go in the game, and you still have 2 timeouts. They did not show any urgency on the second to last possession. On the last possession, you got no problem with what they've got going on. At the end of the game, you have 2 timeouts. There's 35 seconds left. You're down a touchdown. What are you waiting to call timeouts for with 35 seconds left? It's 4th and 1. Not 4th and 1. What? 4th and 4?
Something like that.
4th and 5. And you get the first down. Incredible. Great. You get the first down. Call a timeout. Why are you rushing onto the ball? You just completed the biggest play of the game. The ball is near the 20-yard line or the 25-yard line. You've got 35 seconds left. You can still down the football. You're in 4-down territory. There's 35 seconds left. The team was gassed, all out of sorts. Call a timeout. Regroup everybody. I am screaming at my TV. Kleiman, call a timeout. Call a timeout. You have 2 of them. He was going to save his timeouts. And the very next play, quickly on the ball, the O-line got destroyed. A.J. Martinez, at that point, has already showed you a pendency for fumbling the football because he did it on the second previous play.
Yep.
Fumbles the football and the game's over. Now, do they get into the end zone? Who knows? I do know this. You ended the game without 2 timeouts. In the postgame afterwards, Chris Kleiman says after that play, they were going to call a timeout. You still had 1 timeout to go. It was 1st and 10. You regroup everything. You still can spike the ball. You can still go anywhere you want to in the field. What was more important there was to get everybody organized. And if you're going to run a quick play, then throw a quick out. Don't run a legit play when your team is gassed. So, K-State overall, in a monster game, did not show up to play. Offense, defense, and to me, the coaching staff, because at the end of the game, when decisions are amplified, to me, they did not make the right call. Now, some people are going to say, Jake, well, if you're going to give them credit for, or if you're going to, be very critical of K-State losing this one, then you got to give them credit for winning against Oklahoma State. I'm talking at the end of games. It's easy to call a game when you're up 28-0 and the opposing team has a broken quarterback.
Surely it is.
But in the last 2 biggest games of the season, TCU and Texas, to me, the K-State coaching staff has not made the right calls in back-to-back games. They still have everything in front of them. K-State beats Oklahoma, beats West Virginia, beats KU. They're going to make the Big 12 title game because you will have eliminated Baylor, and I think Texas is going to lose to either Baylor, KU, or TCU. All you need is Texas to lose 1 game, and you win out, and everything is still ahead of you. So this game against Baylor is a big one for Kansas State. A big one. You still have a chance at going 9-3 in the regular season and 7-2 in conference play. But that one was that loss there hurt Kansas State. They really, really did. From the Big O Tires text line, the refs also screwed us too in Manhattan. You gave up 31 points in the first half.
Yeah, that's what screwed you.
Now, do I agree they got screwed on maybe a face mask here or there? Yeah, I still don't understand how you can miss a face mask when there's 9 officials on the field. But yeah, that one stings because it was all there. You win that game. Hell, you can go 2-1 the rest of the way.
Yeah,
and you still make
if you're
the Big 12 title
K-State,
game.
you must win out and hope that there's a little bit of help up top.
Coming up next, we'll get to Everyone Loves the List.
Producers today.
Everyone loves the list. Our topic today with college basketball starting today. Our favorite college basketball jerseys. I want specifics.
Okay.
Number 4, what do you got?
Number 4, I am maybe a minority on this. I love Baylor's highlighter yellow uniforms.
Yeah, those suck.
I love the highlighters.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Number 4 for me, UCLA's white jerseys with the light blue numbers. They look awesome. Like the Tyus Edney version.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Number 3 for me, give me Tennessee's road oranges. Those look good. A little bit of the checkerboard on them as well. They look good.
I'm like Luann Tui off The Blind Side. That color is awful. So far, you are 0 for 2, my friend. Number 3 for me, the Michigan Wolverines gold jerseys with blue numbers circa the Chris Webber Stacey King edition.
Okay. I respect it.
Fab.
Number 2 for me, a simple but a classic. Give me the Carolina Blues. North Carolina's Blues, those are good.
Well, which one?
Hey, give me just their current ones are fine.
No, I think white, blue.
They're road blue, Carolina blue uniforms.
Gotcha. Number 2 for me, KU's white with blue numbers, circus font, Kirk Heinrich era. Those are terrific. They are absolutely a great jersey.
They are perfect, and that's why they are number 1. There's nothing better than the KU circus font unis. They are beautiful.
No, there is one better, and it's not even close. It is North Carolina's. I go white jersey.
Okay, going white
with the blue numbers. Carolina's the best jersey combos in the entire country, and it's not even close. They are terrific.
They are very good.
Coming up next, we're going to hear from head coach Andy Reid. Coming up in the 2:00 hour, we'll have another edition of Overreaction, Proper Reaction, NFL edition. We will get to what Mike Vrabel had to say here in just a little bit. We'll also talk about the Chiefs' offense. Big concern with what happened yesterday or not? But head coach Andy Reid met with the media, gave a little injury update, talks a little bit about the O-line, a little bit about the running back situation, Patrick Mahomes. All of that here is what head coach Andy Reid had to say.
Really, I'm not sure we had too many anyway. So I thought, as I went back and looked at the tape, I thought that just a good team win. I was happy to see our defense play the way they did. Little different style by Tennessee with a young quarterback who I think is going to be tremendous as they go. He's growing right in front of them, I'm sure. So, but just keeping that whole run game under control, I thought was important. And with the exception of a couple of runs that 22 had, I just our guys kept them at bay there. So, and then offensively, I thought we did some good things in there. Our run game wasn't what we wanted it to be, but again, their front is pretty stout there, and particularly those two tackles. And but whatever we gave up on the run game, we picked up in the pass game. I thought our pass protection was good too. I thought overall it was decent protection for as many times we threw the ball. So and then special teams, I thought they that Dave had a nice plan, and I thought we worked through it well. Had good field position for the majority of the time when special teams was involved in that part of it. And so I know Bud had a couple things that were hiccups there, but he'll work through that and get it cleaned up. So, anyways, with that, time, George.
Let's go first to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, you've told us more than once that you tell your assistant coaches to appreciate it when Pat does something spectacular, because that kind of thing you don't see all the time. I was wondering whether last night's game was one of those games for you with Pat, with all that he did in the passing game, but also what he did when he was scrambling as well. And Brad, I'll have a second question also.
Yeah, Adam, I mean the fact that we had like 90 plays, and at the end of the 90 plays, he's running around like it was play 3, I mean, and still being able to throw the football and control the huddle and do all the things you're supposed to do. And then he's not known, he didn't come out being known as a running quarterback that's fast and all that, but he's fast enough, and he just kind of knows when to do it. So it was, I saw all the coaches go up to him afterwards. You talk about that, Adam. I saw all the coaches go up to him after the long run and that series there with the 2-point play and all, and congratulate him and say, man, that was an unbelievable display right there. And so I think that's yes, that was one of those moments. and he's an amazing guy that way.
Yeah. Okay. And you talked a little bit after the game last night in general about some of the fourth down decisions you made, but I specifically wanted to ask you about the one in overtime. It was 4th and 1 at their, 12 or 13, and you ended up converting on a little pass to Juju. How much of that was you wanted to score a touchdown there and not give Tennessee the ball chance with the ball? How much of that was that Butker is struggling a little bit, and how much did that enter into your decision?
Yeah, none of it was off of my feeling about Butker. It was all off of I wanted a touchdown and to end it, and so get it to that point, get a touchdown in there, and let's go. And so, and I think all the analytics people probably tell you the same thing: go score, go score a touchdown if you possibly can. And I thought we had some good stuff still left on 4th down that we could use, and then again, it worked there. But the field goal was good. It was good to get that too. And there's a happy medium there too, because our defense has been playing well. So, but it was a shorter field goal, which we gave it a shot. So we gave it a shot to score.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Brad, I also have 2 questions. Coach, Kadarius Toney 9 snaps yesterday. I know it's a small sample size, but based on what you saw, what impressed you the most of what he was able to do with those 9 snaps?
Yeah, so I liked the option route that he ran. Gave you a little taste of his quickness and ability to get open. I liked some of his blocks, Herbie, were unbelievable. I mean, that's not what we brought him here for, but it's he's a tough kid. So, and he did it against defensive ends, and that's good defensive ends. So, but he'll keep working in. He just hadn't played much, and so Herbie, we had him on a kind of a number count, snap count. Only had a few things in for him. We'll keep working him in. I thought last week getting those practices in, where he had to practice the full practice and practice fast and get to know Pat and what we do there, get to know the terminology. I thought was important for him. Then you can start building on some things,
And then Coach, lastly here for me, Doug Peterson, obviously the head coach down in Jacksonville, is one of your former guys. As you look at what he's been able to do in Jacksonville, what's impressed you the most from afar?
Well, yeah, I mean, they look organized and they have good energy. There's a certain, when you watch enough tape, there's a certain trust that you can see through the players to the coaches indirectly. So, but you see that. What's being called, how fast they play, their body language, all that. So I think both sides of the ball, there's a tremendous amount of trust. Special teams, there's a trust. And this is just year 1. So they don't give up. I mean, you saw that yesterday. I mean, they're going to keep coming. They were down 17 at one point, or 10 at one point, and they came back and won the game. So they've got some grit to them.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, Coach, appreciate the time here. 2 football-related question. You mentioned not getting what you wanted from the run game. What's kind of the missing piece there, in your opinion, and the focus going forward specifically there?
Yeah, Aaron, I think, well, first of all, those 2 defensive tackles, that might have been part of it. Those 2 guys are pretty strong jokers. We've been playing like the number 1 defenses here for the last few weeks, it seems like. And so, they're giving us their best shot, and we can do a little bit better up front. We can do a little bit, be more patient at the running back position. And as coaches, we can always dial up different things, and try to figure something out that might fit a little bit better. So those are all the things that we kind of get in and we analyze and work with. But, what didn't work there worked in the past game. So.
And I kind of called it a legacy play for Noah Gray, that catch in overtime there. Pat mentioned in post game that he'd like to get him the ball a little bit more. What have you seen from him behind the scenes, just from being drafted and then putting himself in that position to make a play?
Yeah, I'll tell you, probably the thing that surprised me the most. I mean, this kid started off as a quarterback, then he got moved to tight end. I mean, a true quarterback at Duke, then moves to tight end, and then it comes here, and we're thinking, oh, we're getting this great pass route runner, and all of a sudden he develops himself into being a run blocker too. And so not only does he have this whole skill level as a pass receiver, but now he's also got a complete game being able to run block, but which I wasn't sure we'd ever get to that point, but he sure done a nice job with that. So catching the ball has never been the issue with him. He can do all of that. He's very skilled that way. And I think it's been great for him to see Kelsey and kind of the ability Kelsey has to play in space. That's helped him too.
It's like we've got 3 more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Sarin. Go ahead, Sarin.
Brad, I'll have a follow-up if I could. Coach, the aggressive nature, I'll call it, of the defensive backs with the receivers. You got to play, right? And what do you tell your guys when it looks like it's going to be one of those nights that they're going to really let them be physical against your receivers? Anything extra you tell them to kind of give them some tips and get them free?
Yeah, so we try to use some of our motions and stacks and bunches, and you do that. And we knew that going in. We knew they were going to work to grab and do that. So, but I thought our guys worked off of that pretty good. It was big on third down. Then they went to really a whole series of it before the half, and kind of blended it in the second half, going man. They play it with a whole player, so it's not even as much the grabbing and the bumping and all that. It's that you have that extra guy in the middle that you just have to sort out. And so we worked through that and ended up doing okay against it. But crossing routes always help too.
And then in the world of legalized gambling on sports and everything, immediately during the game now, there's all these stats on this reffing crew does this, and they call this many penalties, and they call on the home team, or all those numbers. I'm wondering how much of maybe your analytics people give you a breakdown of what to expect on the referees, that these guys let them play, these guys are critical on DBs. I mean, do you have a scouting report on what your reffing crew is going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done that for years. So we've got a booklet on each guy, and we talk to the team about what their strengths are in calls. That was a pretty good crew, though. I mean, that crew has traditionally been good, and I think Cleat does a nice job with that. So of managing and normally letting the guys play. They're a little high this year in calls, but in the past they've been very, very good. They have a couple new guys on their staff there, that crew.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go, Pete.
Hey, Coach, we've seen Travis and Patrick and how they're kind of in unison for years now. And I know you guys brought in a bunch of receivers this offseason. So these past couple games for three games for Juju, it feels like he's really, I think, clicked. And I was wondering if you had any rhyme or reason why it feels like he's been so good with Pat, especially during this last 3-game stretch.
Yeah, so Pete, I think the guy opposite Kels is an important part of this offense. So when Sammy was here, that was important. You saw Pringle kind of work into that. And it's hard to explain exactly why without giving all the things away, but just having that balance there is important. And Juju fits into that well. He's got a great feel for space, and he's fast enough where he can still do your down the field stuff. His change of direction is good. All those things, so you get a similar element opposite Kels. And again, that balance is important for us.
Go last to Todd Lebo. Go, Todd.
The coach, it was a very physical game last night and long game, a lot of plays, as you mentioned. How much do you have to warn against, like, the next week afterwards. Maybe you do anything different this week with the guys to make sure they're fresh for Sunday because of the physical nature of that one, and a little bit of a shortened week with a noon start after a night game.
Sure. That's a good question. We're in our midpoint schedule, so that kicks it back naturally. And without knowing you're going to have 101 plays, right? So on tape here, 101 plays. They didn't count all of them, but that's offensively. And on the other side, the defense got away with 47. So they didn't have about half as many, but we're right into our midpoint schedule, so it just comes at a good time.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
That is head coach Andy Reid. The Titans do have two really good defensive tackles. Jeffrey Simmons, really good. And he was right. He said, I feel like we're going to dominate this Chiefs group. We're going to talk more Chiefs O-line coming up in the 2:00 hour. A little overreaction, underreaction, proper reaction. Get a little college hoops preview. The season starts today for K-State and KU. And Omaha and Rio Grande Valley. I mean, they're looking to start something as well. So we will preview all things UT Rio Grande Valley coming up in the 2:00
Can you name
hour.
me one player from UT Rio Grande Valley?
No.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
No. I couldn't tell you a player from Iowa State right now, to be honest with you.
Oh, boy. I don't think I can either.
Coming up next, Mike Vrabel had some interesting things about Travis Kelce in his post-game press conference. We'll get to that next. post game, Mike Vrabel commented on the 2-point conversion play, more specifically the Travis Kelce and hold by the Tennessee safety. And this is what Vrabel said about Travis Kelce.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't. That they've let Travis play like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know, flop and hope you get a call. I guess you're asking the wrong guy again. It's Twitter handles at NFL officiating. They can answer any questions. I'm not going to be able to answer them.
They've let Travis get away with that. And then he says, flop or throw your hands or whatever. First of all, he was held.
Yeah, he was bear hugged.
Travis Kelce also did put his hands in his face.
Yeah, he did do what should have been called an illegal hands to the face.
And so I don't know why people are all like, oh, well, if they call that, then what, you think that, okay, that the penalty, you redo the down, it would have been offsetting.
Yeah, those penalties should have been offsetting. We replayed the down.
Yeah, replay it out.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in, I wonder, does Vrabel think that, that's Kelce? He flops and I don't think he's a flopper.
I don't think so. Here's the thing, and I will always say this. Vrabel's an old school defensive guy.
Yes.
And I think anybody cut from that mold, they're just going to view things a different way, and they're going to think we let receivers run too freely. I mean, I think Mike Vrabel fully thinks this guy did nothing wrong. Part of it being it's his guy. The other part is to Vrabel in his day and age, that's how you play defense. And I'm not blaming Mike Vrabel for anything here, but I think Vrabel just comes from an old school way of looking, and the idea, he was Matt Smith legal contact calls. They're enforcing it more this year because it's point of emphasis. If you contact them more than 5 yards, it is a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that means 6 yards. And I get Vrabel can be mad about that, but they were doing it and it got called.
I never thought of Kelce being a flopper.
He's not, but old school defensive guys are going to think that because they think there should be more contact.
We'll talk more Chiefs offense coming up to start 2:00 hour. Of Mic'd Up on this Victory Monday edition. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake Levon along with Fulton Caster with you. As always, give us your thoughts. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line. 785-272-9429. If you'd like to let us know via Twitter, at Sports on 580, that's Sports on 580, as well as our YouTube page, youtube.com/at Sports on 580. Love to get your take on this Victory Monday edition of Mic'd Up. We'll get to some college hoops. We'll get to a little overreaction, proper reaction coming up in this 2 o'clock hour. There is a question on the Big O Tires text line. Is Fulton colorblind?
No, I just like vibrancy. I don't know how everyone's not. No one has realized this about me yet. I like vibrant colors.
One, we're on radio, so it's hard to see vibrant colors.
Well, no, like not like what I wear, just like in general. Like we've had these discussions about uniforms and like other things like that and logos. Like I've consistently been I like vibrant colors guy. But it's fair. It doesn't come up often enough.
Right.
I don't have people to memorize facts about me. You guys have more important things to memorize.
Most of your list I have no problem with. Carolina Blues, obviously, I had them number 1. You had KU number 1. I had them 2. Your number 3 was
Tennessee's orange.
Tennessee's orange.
I enjoy that.
I think their orange is atrocious.
Nah, it's great.
And
it's nice, vibrant orange.
That one, at least, I can semi-understand. Like, okay. I'm not a big orange guy.
Yeah.
Baylor's highlighter uniforms.
Oh, Baylor's highlighter yellows are awesome.
Are just
it's great.
Abominant. You probably thought the Cumberbund uniforms were great too.
Okay, that's different.
Jeez.
No, that's
the highlighter Cumberbund is probably like Fulton wears that to bed.
That's
different.
Your
jammies.
Oh, you are now just searching for false equivalency.
Shit. No, the highlighter orange or highlighter yellow
was good.
I Fulton, that opinion, that one's wrong.
No,
that one's wrong. That one's wrong. But do you have the right opinion on the game last night? The Chiefs can't run the football.
Not consistently, at least.
And I don't know if it's because Tennessee's run defense is that good, and they were ranked number 1 in the run defense going into that game.
It is worth noting Tennessee's run defense is very stout.
But Tennessee also has played crap offenses the last 5 games.
Yeah.
So they really came to the table. And there are 2 things for me on an offensive line running back running game. It's either the offensive line is not doing it or the running back is not doing it. And I'm starting to think now it is both. It is not just a one issue. We were told that this offensive line is going to be excellent. They were not good yesterday. Some of their sacks that they gave up, not all on Orlando Brown, not all on Andrew Wiley. It wasn't on the offensive line, is nobody could get open.
Yeah, I think a majority of the sacks yesterday for Tennessee were cover sacks.
And there's still some sacks where, geez, come on, Orlando Brown. You just got put on skates and you're 6'8", 350. Like, I know if you just get the tower moving, it's going to fall over. But damn, there was some really bad plays there from Orlando Brown. And to show a little bit about this Chiefs offense and where they're at, I think people are putting too much emphasis on the Tyreek Hill situation because you have Ben Solak of The Ringer says the Chiefs have solved offense without Tyreek in the same sense that their offense is still the league's best. But it certainly does feel like when they stall, it is because their non-Kelsey players are struggling to separate. I think the Toney trade reflects that. Now, I also want to point out, and Mitchell Schwartz did this, former Chief. He said they did this last year. Last year, they scored 3 points against Tennessee, 20 against last year's Giants team, which sucked, 13 at home against the Packers when Jordan Love was at quarterback. That was 3 weeks in a row. So Tyreek Hill was in there last year. I just think sometimes the Kansas City Chiefs offense through 17 games is going to have hiccups. They are going to have bad games, and then they are going to have great games. Andy Reid was in his feels and in the zone against the 49ers. So if you're going to come with the, oh, wow, none of their guys can get open, oh, they can't struggle and separate, oh, they can't do this, look at what they did just the week before against a 49er defense that was a top 10 defense, and Andy Reid and Mahomes and Juju and MVS were just eviscerating people. Remember, it was the sixth best individual game since 1980.
Yeah.
So
that was amazing.
You can't have if you're gonna go with the wow, they certainly feel like they stall. Yeah, that's kind of how offenses stall. People can't get open, just like it was last year. But when the offense is clicking, and the games in which the offenses click for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, they absolutely mauled the Buccaneers. Against the 49ers, it was clicking. So it's not just, oh, wow, they're still the best offense in the NFL. They've got good games and bad games. Is now the Bills offense trash? You know, oh my gosh, the Bills can't do anything. All you have to do is play two deep shell against the Bills, and they have nobody else to do it. Like, it's 17 games. You're not going to hit on every single game. Right now, the Chiefs have hit on, to me, offensively, outside of the start of the Raider game, in 4 games, and they haven't hit in 2 games. I don't think the Bills game was a non-hit like the Colts game. Obviously, that was they were bad. Titans game, they were not good. Yet when we talk about they weren't good, Mahomes still threw for 440 yards.
Yeah,
I don't want to look at this and say, oh wow, the Chiefs offense can't get any separation. Well, they had Tyreek Hill, and they couldn't do it last year. You're going to have ups and downs. That's part of it. The question is, how do you handle the ups and downs? And Mahomes was able to make it work when, at times yesterday, they didn't look good. Chiefs expectations and the NFL media expectations are, wow, they were awful. This is why they made the trade. I mean, I think they made the trade for Tony because, hey, we like the pick. It's only a 3rd rounder. We already had another 3rd rounder to have. We only got 2 wide receivers under contract next year. Hey, this makes sense. It doesn't have to be because, oh, wow, our guys suck. But when, low key, this is now 3 games in a row that Juju Smith-Schuster has gone. Did he go over 100 yards? Or
No.
he was close to it, wasn't it, though?
He was getting close.
88.
Yeah.
So it's 3 games in a row where Juju has had 88 yards or more. Now, they didn't look great at times, and they completely abandoned the running game. But let's pump the brakes a little bit on, oh, wow, this Chiefs offense is nobody can get open when 2 weeks ago they were wide ass open against San Francisco.
Here's what I'll say. It's both. Because here's the thing about the Titans game people don't realize. For majority of that game, it was a hot knife through butter. Chiefs' first 2 drives were a hot knife.
Yeah, they look great.
And they only settled for a field goal on drive 1 because they kept shooting themselves in the foot.
Correct.
Like, next drive, hot knife through butter. And then the Chiefs offense slowed down because the offensive line started leaking like a sieve. Partially because I will give the Titans credit. They were playing some tremendous coverage on the back end for some of those sacks. Part of it also was, goodness gracious, it was within 0.2 of a second with somebody in Mahomes' face flushing him. Which, when that happens, you can't get free. I will also add, if your name is not Travis Kelce or Juju Smith-Schuster, you cannot get open right now. Like, Marquez Valdes-Scantling is not consistently getting open. He's not. There's a reason he only had 1 catch in the game. It's when he finally got open, but he didn't get open. Sky Moore, somehow, every time the ball's thrown his way, there are 2 dudes. I don't know if that's just Mahomes not ever seeing him properly. I don't know what that is, but every time Sky Moore has a ball thrown to him, I'm seeing 2 defenders in the area. Whatever. McCole Hardman, when he is being used as a weapon, Brendan has made this same times, when he's used as an offensive weapon, that is genius. But when he's asked to be a receiver and run routes, he's not getting open.
He does.
And then he drops the ball.
And Mahomes hits him right in the chest plate. And he drops it.
And here's the thing, though. This exact same thing was happening last year. Because instead of the idea of non-Kelce guys aren't getting open, this year was non-Kelsey and non-Hill guys. Like last year, the plan was bracket Travis Kelce, bracket Tyreek Hill, Byron Pringle, DeMarcus Robinson, McCole Hardman, do something. And they didn't. Like, the Chiefs' offense is having less of those moments overall this year. And I agree with you. I think it's crazy. They're going to have moments that stall every offense will. I completely agree with you there. But there are legitimate times when guys are not getting open. Like, those coverage sacks aren't because the Titans have, 2 copies of prime Darrelle Revis back there. Christian Fulton is good. And I will always love Christian Fulton because he does the name proud. But he's not, this all-pro corner. Kevin Byard is great. He is fantastic.
He's a 2-time All-Pro. Yeah, he's good.
But he didn't have Amani Hooker back there with him. Like, guys still do need to get open. The Chiefs' offense at times with Andy Reid's play calling, he loses some rhythm. And he starts, doing some things that make you scratch your head a little bit. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of people need to calm down the fact that the offense will stall because every offense in football does. There is a level of, though, at times these receivers do not get open.
And that's going to happen.
It will. It will.
And there's a reason why, MVS only got a $20 million deal. And yes, he wasn't open in yesterday's game, but he was against the San Francisco 49ers.
They found a way through scheme. No, I'm fully with you. I get you. I understand.
What would you think, like, at the beginning of the year, what would you have said MVS is, if he gets X amount of yards, that would be acceptable? What would that be?
I would like to see MVS get close to 700 because he's a deep ball threat. But I wasn't expecting him to be a high target guy.
Okay. So
which was why, I'm not mad that MVS is getting, 3 catches a game.
And the reason I bring that up is MVS is on pace for over 800 yards.
That's great. No, he's having his moments. I agree.
To say, oh, well, he's not getting open. Well, he's got 381 yards right now. And we've played 8 games. And so, he's on pace. Almost has 400 yards in 8 games. So that's 800 yards. So I think people just like to nitpick because of it's Patrick Mahomes. It's the Chiefs offense. And honestly, it's low hanging fruit. Oh, they don't have Tyreek Hill. Well,
it's a low level of analysis. It's a very low level of analysis.
That's the thing that bums me about. Oh, are they not getting wide open? No, but obviously it's still working. And Travis Kelce in the game, ended
still
up
at 100 yards, still 10 catches
at 100 yards.
And I will say this about Kadarius Toney, because that's an aspect of this that's starting to come up is, why did the people trying to really figure out what the Chiefs' motive was? I think you and I have hit this pretty well here, along with Brendan and Dan as well. The motive is the Chiefs needed wide receivers for next year, and he's cheap, cost controlled, and wasn't a lot of draft value to give up. Plus, the Chiefs like Toney from the draft. Like, if the Chiefs could have drafted Kadarius Toney, they would have. And I think, though, in the game, you saw the part of the skill, which one, we might need to reevaluate how much Toney might get used offensively amongst us. But you saw, though, what he brings to the table that is helpful. His route running and agility kept getting him open. Like, that's where I think there is a level to you add Toney for so many more reasons beyond, he was not added for immediate fix the offense this year help. Anyone that tries to make it seem like it was for that reason is, I will openly call you a moron. Because the thing that she said to Kadarius Toney is we need a receiver to get open. Let's go get Toney. No, that's a longer handed play. But you saw on some of his routes he was running in that game, the way he can shift and move, give him time, he will be probably a reliable target for Patrick Mahomes because he's going to find a way to get open. And that's where it's a bit of a mix. Overall, this offense is going to be just fine because I think too many people see the 9 points for so much of that game and really go, man, the Chiefs offense wasn't clicking. The Chiefs had almost 500 yards of offense. Granted, was a chunk of that Patrick Mahomes pulling it out of his rear end? Yes. The last 2 drives, all that yardage was Mahomes saying, screw you guys, we're winning this game. But in the other parts before that, when they were getting yardage, it's because the offense was working. It's just that a little point, and whatever Mike Vrabel's got going on with Tennessee, it's working.
They play bully ball.
They did.
They play bully ball.
They do. And when a front four can get home on the Chiefs, they struggle. Like if there's a defensive blueprint, you have to be able to get home with 4. And the Titans can do that.
And the Chiefs offensive line has looked great at times. They looked great against the 49ers, great against the Bucks, and then they have looked bad at times.
Yeah, and they look they're so inconsistent.
Yeah,
the word is inconsistent.
And the problem is that was supposed to be a strength this year.
It was.
That was supposed to be a strength.
And for Orlando Brown, it's teams are setting up their speed rushers on him, and that is the smartest move to ever do. He can't handle speed.
I think
he's too big.
I think he's cost himself
at least $10 million. At
least $10 million.
He's got, because also Bud Dupree, very good football player, very good, but not elite. I watched numerous times Bud Dupree just shove Orlando Brown to Patrick Mahomes' lap. Where there were a couple plays where a sack was given, you want to yell at Orlando Brown, but it was like those were coverage. A few of them were coverage where it's like he did the thing. You send him past Mahomes, you see what happens. But there are times where Orlando Brown was just getting bullied, and it's you can't have that. There were times where on the interior, the Titans ran the simplest of games and stunts and twists, and guys are just not passing things off right. You know, Andrew Wiley got some love at the end of the game from Chris Collinsworth, and I think it was deservedly so because he really did finish the game strong. But he had moments where he just was getting beat.
Yeah.
Like, those 5 guys can be a top 5 offensive line. Because at their peak when they are clicking.
I don't think so.
When they are against Tampa Bay, when they are clicking. Consistently, though, they're not. And that's where you knock them.
They've had 2 good games out of 8.
Like, and that's my point of this is a floor ceiling thing. The ceiling for this offensive line is top 5. The ceiling when everyone's going well, everyone's on the point.
We have not seen that
consistently.
Except for 20% of the time.
I don't disagree. That's why their overall production should be graded lower. And we've seen what their floor is. Their floor is a below average unit.
Oh, yeah.
Their floor is a well below average unit that gets destroyed by the simplest of concepts. Yeah. And you just don't know what it's going to be week to week. The Jags coming up on Sunday. They have Josh Allen to rush the passer. I would not be surprised if he causes havoc. I would not be surprised if Andrew Wiley neutralizes him all day. Because those two realities have a similar chance of hitting.
Like they should handle the Jags front four.
They should.
They should.
There's no guarantee they will, though.
No, they should, though.
Because this is a very inconsistent offensive line.
Yeah. Coming up, we'll get to a little overreaction, underreaction, proper reaction. We'll get to all of that. And we'll talk a little college hoops. That's coming up here on Mic'd Up. College hoops tonight. KU, led by Jalen Wilson, Grady Dick, DeJuan Harris. K-State, led by Keontae Johnson, Marquise Noel, and insert like 10 other dudes.
Yeah, just insert a collection of bodies.
I think KU will struggle against big teams because they don't have a whole lot of size.
Yeah, KU's going to have an issue with that this year because they just don't have a proven big man inside.
Nope. K-State is going to out-athlete and out-hustle and out-work a lot of teams, but I think K-State's going to struggle outside of Keontae Johnson scoring.
Yeah.
They've got, I think they're going to get so many turnovers. I think defensively they're going to play in your face. They're going to get out and run. They are going to crash the glass. They're going to get tip-ins. They're going to shoot a lot of free throws. And I think that is going to be a very difficult game to play for some teams. But the sound defensive teams, I think, are going to cause K-State problems because they don't have a ton of bucket getters.
Mm-hmm. Teams that they can't turn over constantly are going to be their biggest problems.
So they need someone to make shots.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make shots against Washburn, but that's because I don't think they had a bad shooting day. I just don't think they have great shooters.
Yeah, I agree with
so that will be my question for Kansas State this year. I think Kansas State can surprise a lot of people. I really do with the way that they're going to play. They are long. I mean, real long inside when you look at it with Naquin Tomlin at 6'10 and Colbert at 6'10, Johnson at 6'6, Gisan at 6'9. They're going to be long. They really, really are. I don't think they're going to make the NCAA tournament, but I think that they are going to be a fun team to watch. They are going to be entertaining. For KU, I think Grady Dick can really have a good year. I think that is no question the case. They need Jalen Wilson and Grady Dick to be excellent.
Yeah.
I think Harris, if he improves his shot, will help out. I think KU can finish top 3 in the league. I don't think they're going to win the league because I don't think they have enough inside. KJ Adams is not, he's 6'6". Zach Clements, not strong enough. Their freshmen are freshmen. This isn't, a top 5 or top 10, top 20 freshman big man coming in here. That's not the case. So I think both teams, I think KU will probably be a top 3 seed. I don't know if they're going to be that a 1 or a 2 seed this year. I just think that rebounding is going to be a big key for KU going forward. But these 2 games tonight, Omaha, really, you're a 35-point dog. Wow. Like, 80 to 50.
Yeah,
is not even that Omaha covers 80 to 50.
I will say this: I've watched past couple years when KU and Nebraska Omaha have played. There's been games I've for whatever reason either tuned into or have attended. I mean, KU's put up some points. They've had some big wins over Nebraska, Omaha, in some recent stretches. But I mean, those big spreads, I'm always worried about teams covering. Like if you wanted to bet on this game, because hey, we can bet on college basketball now. That's a new thing that we can do. I don't know if I would take that because I just don't know if KU is going to be able to really push that envelope and get the big score, because I think their scoring is going to be hot and cold this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with you on KU. I love the Jayhawks. I love the guys, but I think a top 3 finish in the league is where they're at, because truly their number one issue to try and solve as the year goes is you got to get someone to be able to play the 5, because there's just not anyone really there to do it the way you want to do it. Because KJ Adams might be the best option defensively at the 5, because he can guard 1 through 5, and he's so athletic and
I don't think
tenacious.
he can guard the 5.
Well, the problem is bigger 5s will give them a problem.
Yeah. And you're going to face bigger 5s in the Big 12.
Oh, yeah, you are. You got some big dudes in the league.
Yeah.
Zach Clemens can shoot it a little bit, and he can stretch the floor, but he's just not stocky enough, I think, to hold up inside. And then, Uday and Ejiofor, it's just, what do you do with those guys? And it's just they're young. They're young, and they need to learn. And if Bill Self is anything, if you do not do the little things he wants you to do, he does not care how good of a rated freshman you are. You will not see the floor.
Correct.
Like Grady Dick's going to come off the bench for most of the year because he is going to be great offensively for this KU team.
Yep.
But if he doesn't learn to play defense the way Bill wants him to, he's never going to get starters minutes.
Well,
because Bill won't do it.
He's going to get starters minutes because they have nobody else can put the ball in the hoop like he can.
That's also fair.
He can score it, no question.
He truly can.
He can be special.
Something else, man.
I will say this. K-State against Rio Grande Valley. You're not going to know anything about K-State nor KU right now, but I can tell you when KU plays Kentucky in 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, what do they play on? Next Tuesday?
Looking it up right now. Give me just one moment. KU and Duke go at it on the 15th.
Oh, yeah, because they play Kentucky on
SEC, Big 12 SEC Challenge, because
right.
we can't get a new team in that format.
That's right.
I hate it so much. No, we're 8 days away from KU and Duke.
Yeah, and they play the evening game. They play the 8 o'clock.
Yeah, they're the back half. They're the game that's going to start late because the first one always goes late.
Correct.
It's going to be a long night, that too.
K-State, gosh, when are we going to find out about the Cats? Probably maybe California. Cal really doesn't ever, they don't
depending on how good Butler's team is this year.
And Wichita State's, I don't think, going to be great this year.
Probably not. It's going to be a feeling out process when it comes to the Wildcats, but it might be getting a little bit deeper in December before we through K-State's entire non-con. We're probably still going to be kind of going up and down with really how we feel until they get they're going to get to Big 12 play when they tip off against West Virginia. And we're going to still probably not be fully set on what K-State's going to do.
Their first 3 games are West Virginia, Texas, West Virginia at home, Texas, and then Baylor, both of them on the road.
Well, we will truly find out what's going on with K-State at that point.
Yeah, their non-conference schedule. Yeah, not great. Coming up, little overreaction, proper reaction for the NFL here on Mic'd Up. Do have K-State hoops coming up tonight. K-State women starting at 5 o'clock. The men will follow. Double header there at Bramlage. But also coming up tonight, Monday Night Football. And one of the things that I love about betting the NFL is I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about the FanDuel Sportsbook app is you combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. Perfect for tonight's game. You got to like Lamar Jackson in this one. Lamar Jackson over passing yards. Alvin Kamara, he's going to score a touchdown. And over Chris Olave. They got nobody else to throw to but Chris Olave. Go over Chris Olave. Those are the three that I'm going to be playing. Same game parlays are just one of the reasons I bet with FanDuel. I love live betting. Works out great. Hopefully you took advantage of that last night with the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Kelce. Didn't have a great start. Same thing with Juju. I told you, bet the over on Juju. Live betting's fantastic. You can make $1 or $2 there, plus the odds boost makes it fun as well. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code JAKE. That's promo code JAKE. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as an auto-travel free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Time for a little overreaction, proper reaction. All right. Right now, Justin Fields is playing the best quarterback out of anybody in the 2021 draft at quarterback. Overreaction, proper reaction.
So that's Lawrence. That's Wilson. That's technically Lance, but he has not played football. So he's just kind of a side to the question here. And then there's the whoever was selected in the later rounds.
I'm going to help you out here.
Yeah, give me the later round guys.
Trevor Lawrence,
yeah,
Zach Wilson, Trey Lance,
yeah,
Justin Fields, Mac Jones.
Oh, Mac Jones counts. I forgot about him.
Okay. Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, Davis Mills.
Oh yeah, Mills Mafia.
Those are the ones that matter. So right now, I guess Ian Book did start a game for the.
He doesn't count.
I mean, he does. Sam Ehlinger as well.
Sam Ellinger's in there.
Boy, he looked.
He is the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts now. Is Fields playing the best right now? Honestly, man, Trevor Lawrence is not playing bad. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. And I say this as a Fields guy. I've been a Fields guy since day one, which has not gone well. But the last 3 weeks, the Bears are figuring out how to use Justin Fields.
That's what I'm saying.
Which step one to that was, we have a quarterback that's really good at running the football and is a real big threat with his legs. Maybe we just design more of those. Who'd have thunk that would help?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk that would help? Mm-hmm. And then the other part is they're just scheming things up better. Because, I mean, without a blocked punt return for a touchdown, they beat the Dolphins.
Correct.
Like, quite literally, take that off the board. They win. Which you can't, but, they were right there offensively. They've scored 30 points in, I believe, 3 straight games. Like, I think you have to, if you look at the overall body of work, I think you have to just pump the brakes a tad. But Justin and Trevor Lawrence are playing the best quarterback right now. It's those two. I've been on the Mac Jones ain't good train, and he's not. Like, the Patriots win football games in spite of Mac Jones. Which Bill Belichick told you everything he felt about Mac Jones when he benched him for Bailey Zappi in the middle of a game.
Bailey Zappi.
That tells you everything.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why saying that Fields right now is playing the best is not an overreaction.
Yeah, I think I actually might have to. I think I've talked myself into it. I got to change my answer. It's proper. No, he is playing the best. I think I got it. I got it. I've talked myself into it.
Stinks.
Yeah, Zach Wilson
Jones
bad.
stinks.
Mac Jones bad.
Like
Davis Mills Mafia. I love my guy, but it's not great football.
No.
They almost beat the Eagles. They were there for a while.
Not really.
They were there for a while.
That's not really. They lost by double figures.
I think Justin is right there because his team is big shock. You gave it some time, and a new head coaching staff finally figuring out how to work their quarterback and letting him do things he's comfortable with. And all of a sudden, he's actually playing well. Man, that's really weird how that works. Not taking my victory lap yet, but I'm happy that Justin's playing well. Overreaction, proper reaction. Both the NFC East and AFC East are going to get 3 teams in the playoffs.
Overreaction. No.
Who doesn't get 3 in?
Both of them don't.
Okay, so you think one of 3 of Buffalo, Jets, and Miami doesn't make it?
Yeah, the Jets are not making the playoffs.
They just beat Buffalo.
Okay, great. The Colts beat the Chiefs. Are they making the playoffs?
Fair point. I mean, the Jets also are essentially tied for first place in their division, while the Colts don't really have a quarterback. And then, I guess to deeper dive into your thoughts here, as you say both, who amongst 3 of Philly, Dallas, and the Giants are making it?
The Giants aren't going to make playoffs.
6-2, Jake.
Now that one
They're 6-2.
That one has a much better chance. The Eagles are making it, and Dallas is making it. But the Jets, let's see.
I mean, they have the Patriots next. They can win that game.
Okay, if we're gonna go down that, yes, they can make it. I don't think they are.
Okay.
Like, I don't think, in fact, they're gonna lose to the Patriots.
Okay.
The Bears might beat them. They're gonna lose to the Vikings and the Bills. Then the Seahawks probably gonna beat them, and the Dolphins. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They might lose 6 more games, and so the Jets will finish at.
They lost 6 more. They'd be 8 and 9.
Yeah, so they're not gonna make the playoffs. No, I don't think the Jets are gonna make the playoffs.
I think one of those 2 divisions is getting 3 in.
And the Giants.
I cannot tell you which of the 2 divisions it will be. I think one of those 2 divisions is getting 3 in.
Way to go ahead and hedge your bet there.
Oh, of course.
The
smart.
Giants are going to lose to the Cowboys. Probably the Commanders once. They'll lose to the Eagles. That's 3. Lose to the Vikings 4, and they'll lose. Well, the Eagles might not have anything to play for on that one. So 4. So they might go 10-7.
And in that bad NFC, that's my thing on why both those divisions can get someone to squeak in, because your hatred here is on the New York teams, which past history, I understand where you're coming from. I do. Past history.
Hey, all I know
get it.
Is if the Jets or the Giants make the playoffs, kudos to whoever they have to play, because you don't really, I mean, I'm not scared of Zach Wilson or Daniel Jones in the playoffs.
I don't disagree. Yeah. I completely agree.
Nah, it ain't happening.
The Giants have a better chance than the Jets, but I mean, with those bottom feeding, I mean, we keep talking about the Chargers. They could fall off a cliff that opens the door for something. Only one team is making out of the AFC South. I'm now on the board that I think the Titans are going to win the division because the Jags have gone bad. And I will never say Sam Ellinger-led team is going to the playoffs. Also now led by Jeff Saturday. So it's just, doors are open, is all I'm saying. Doors are open.
We'll get a lot more into the Chiefs and the Titans when it comes to the intricacies of the game. But overreaction, proper reaction. The Chiefs' run defense is not a problem.
This is my shocks me. I'll say it's a proper reaction. Because first half, yes, their gap filling was a problem, and Juan Thornhill made about 80 business decisions, which we can't have. Gotta square up, and you take the truck in like a man, and you grab him by the waist, and you hang on for dear life. But as you saw, second half, and even later into the first half, they started filling in their gaps. They started being more sound in their tackling. They got downhill. They were controlling it. Majority of these games where they start, and it is disconcerting how often the Chiefs start being gashed on the ground. I can't deny that. But majority of these games, as it goes, by the end of the first half, they've more often than not figured out how to stop the run. Are they slow to get to it? Yes. And that is not always good. But overall, they've done a pretty good job defending the run when they need to, when they start kind of figuring out, they get into a little bit of a rhythm and a flow, and they get downhill and fill their gaps properly. So I don't think it's a problem. I truly don't.
I am going to have to wait and see on this because I think I have a hard time saying anything about the Chiefs defense outside of there was no threat at the quarterback spot.
That's
And
true.
when there's no threat at the quarterback spot going forward in that one single game, because every single game is a single entity. If that is they were outstanding. They gave up one first down after the 5:25 mark of the second quarter. That's how good the Chiefs defense was. They were excellent. It's easy when you don't have a threat at all at quarterback. Like if Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback, the Chiefs lose that game to me. If Ryan Tannehill is in at quarterback, the Chiefs lose that game. Because I don't think you can play them the same way with Tannehill there. Now, they don't have a whole lot to throw to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if Chris Conley and, guys I've never even heard of are your receivers, that is a problem. But in a single game yesterday, they did their job. But going forward, I wonder if Saunders shouldn't get more playing time than Derek Nottie. Derek Nottie was getting blown off the ball.
Yeah, he made a couple of plays early, but after a while, he was getting blown off the ball, and Colin Saunders made some good plays.
He was maybe the best defender out there in the game yesterday. He led the team in tackles.
He looked good.
He was very, very good. So I think the Chiefs defense is kind of, that game didn't change my opinion at all, even though I give a lot of credit to Spags because whatever he did, whatever he told them, it worked.
Yeah, whatever calls they
really
changed to make or whatever he told
worked.
them to do, it did. I will say the Chiefs get another test this week. Travis Etienne is running the ball really well right now. Like, Travis Etienne has been handed the keys to that backfield, and he is, I think it's 3 straight 100-yard games, if not at least 2. He is galloping on teams right now.
Jacksonville's such an odd team.
They are.
They really, really are.
They're an odd 3-6.
I don't know what to expect from the Jags.
Neither do I.
I don't think a lot of people do. So that is what makes them an interesting game.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because most of their games have always been close. In fact, all of their losses have been within a single possession. In fact, they finally did win a 1-score game.
Yeah, they beat the Raiders by 7.
Beat the Raiders by 7, and they were down by 17. But lost by 4, lost by 6, lost by 7, lost by 7, lost by 8 to the Eagles, and lost by 6 to the Commanders. Like this is a team that I mean, there's a reason why the Chiefs opened up as a 9-point favorite.
Yeah, this is the Jaguars team that against lower competition usually can win, but also have been stabbing themselves in the foot. And when they face higher competition, it could change some things up on them. So this is the Jags team that if the Chiefs play close to the Jags, I don't think everybody needs to immediately hit a panic button with that as well. This Jags team is starting to figure some things out. When they lose, it's because they can't get out of their own way. Like, it's stupid interceptions, it's fumbles, it's stupid penalties. That's why the Jags lose. Not because they're just a bad football team, but because they're just, it's mental mistakes, not lack of talent on the field. Because there's talent on this team. But this run defense gets another test because you got to stop Travis Etienne. He's not a bruiser like Henry, but he is shifty and he can move.
Mm-hmm. Coming up next, we'll finish things off with the mic drop here on Mic'd Up. It is time for the mic drop here on the Mic'd Up, finishing off this Victory Monday. All right, Fulton, what do you got?
It's very simple. King football is bowl eligible. They're going to a bowl game. They have 6 wins in 90 games. They're 6-3. They could get a 7th win. They could get an 8th. They could get a 9th.
They could get a 10th.
It is, honestly, if it just felt right, that door is actually kind of still open. Funny enough, this is essentially year 1 for Lance Leipold. He didn't get to meet his players until August practices last year. And in year 1, the first full year he's had with this team, they're going to go to a bowl game. Nothing can be said to properly sum up the amazing coaching job that Lance Leipold and staff have done to get Kansas football to where they are, and the fact that they have a chance to really make even more noise this year and even make some noise next year.
CBS Sports bowl projections has KU heading to the Liberty Bowl.
Okay. I could have fun down there.
Against Missouri.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Brendan will hate his life. Give it to me. I need that.
KU Mizzou.
No, I need that.
Yeah. They've got K-State in the Cheez-It Bowl
Good for them.
taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels. Enjoy Patrick Mahomes. He's special. Not every fan base gets a Patrick Mahomes. Just be thankful. Remember, they started Tyler Thigpen for a majority of games. 580 Sports Talk is coming up next.